Hello and welcome to your review of the week, a roundup of the top stories on KMTV over the last 7 days. An investigation's underway after a massive fire damaged around 30 homes in Canterbury. Many have had to be demolished and a fundraising appeal has been set up for the victims. Jem Collins reported for us on Monday.
They were built just 10 years ago, but today little remains of these homes in Canterbury's Tannery development. Firefighters remained on the scene this morning and demolition started after a blaze ripped through the block of flats on Saturday, with at least 30 homes thought to have been affected and 16 of those described as suffering dramatic damage.
So mainly our house is it's just mainly water damage.
Yeah, but they managed to stop the fire getting into the front bathroom, thankfully, but half our roof is gone, but I don't know what it looks like inside. We don't know when we're allowed to see it, so I'm not really sure, to be honest. Yeah, it's still not surreal though. It is surreal. I mean, it hasn't sunk in yet. I think it will sink in when I go in and look at the house if we're able to.
Although no one was hurt in the blaze, dozens of families have spent their second night away from home, as both the local council and their landlords have rallied round to offer support.
We've had around sort of 50 people through the rest centre. It's sometimes higher than that, but in terms of the number of units or buildings affected by this, it was around sort of 30 properties, but at various stages of the day we had different numbers.
Absolutely, we'll be taking control as soon as the fire service say they're ready for us to take control, and from that point on we'll secure the site and move forward with that. The support for residents will be there and ongoing.
The property developers have now launched an inquiry into how the flames started, but for those who've been left without a home, this is just the start of a very long journey. This is Jem Collins in Canterbury for KMTV.
A migrant died in the Channel Tunnel on Tuesday after trespassers got onto a Eurotunnel shuttle. Graham Stothard has more details.
There have been hours and hours of delays on the Channel Tunnel in recent weeks, and today there's been even more. There's waiting times of up to 3 hours for Folkestone passenger services after an incident that's killed a migrant. It was reported that some trespassers were on a freight train at 5 o'clock this morning, and the death was reported at 9 o'clock, although no other serious injuries have been reported. There will be serious delays as there are cancellations to be expected, and some parts of the tunnel are actually closed. This is Graham Stothard for KMTV in Folkestone.
It meant that once again Operation Stack was put in place, leading one haulage boss to fear there could be civil unrest if an alternative to it isn't found soon.
Something has to be done quickly. There are solutions. Agreed, they're not instant, but there are solutions, and we've got to really pull all the stops out to make it happen, because we cannot carry on like this. I could see it finishing off some businesses, yes, I really could, and that's not over egging the situation.
A young footballer has died after collapsing on the pitch on Tuesday whilst playing for Tunbridge Angels. Jem Collins reports.
For 23-year-old Junior Dean, the dream was to play here for the Tunbridge Angels at their Longmead ground, and yesterday he got his first chance as a trialist against Whiteleaf FC in Surrey. But just 20 minutes after being brought on as a substitute in the second half, he was collapsed unconscious on the pitch. He was then taken to hospital in Tooting but later died. Steve Churcher from the club says they're still reeling from the news.
We're a big family here. We pulled together. I think the community have obviously shown a certain amount of solidarity, and we'll get the boys together on Thursday night and talk to them and see where we go from there. We're playing Gillingham in a friendly on Saturday, and hopefully we can make that a bit of a tribute game to Junior.
In other news, a father who caused the death of his 7-year-old son in a crash on the A20 in Kent has avoided being sent to prison after the judge said he's already going to be punished every day for the rest of his life. There's been a huge rise in the number of illegal immigrants trying to get into the UK through the port of Dover. 563 people were stopped by border police in 2014. That's nearly 4 times as many as the year before. And the first electric-powered plane to cross the Channel has successfully landed in Calais after taking off from Lyd Airport in Kent. And finally, there's a pub with a difference in Who, where the landlord keeps his zoo in the garden. Graham Stothard went to check it out.
Kent is by no means short of good pubs, not to mention good ale. But what if you fancy something a bit different? How about a pub with a zoo? Well, you're in luck. One Medway man has done just that.
We are here to offer exotics, really, a place that they can come and live hopefully a fulfilling life, and then an opportunity for people to come in, see what we do and try and understand what the animal's about.
Although many of the animals here don't actually need a licence to keep, the Fenbell is currently working with the council to become the first official zoo in Medway, a status they hope to achieve in a few months. A lot of the animals now here were previously living in poor conditions. So, for example, the marmosets you can see here on Andy's shoulder were actually rescued from the pet trade in Sheffield. They were being held in an enclosure that wasn't fit for purpose. Or Basil, the Coatimundi. He was taken on when the petting zoo he lived in closed down. If Andy didn't take him, he'd be homeless and possibly sold to someone who couldn't properly provide for him. With animals like Basil, Andy hopes to educate people about what a huge commitment having exotic pets can be, especially some bird species, which can live for decades. But he also wants something to add to the community, and by the looks of things, it's working. And what do you think? What do you like about it?
I like about it because it's like an animal park.
This is Graham Stothard for KMTV in Who.
There's more local news on KMFM, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. But that's it from KMTV.